Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Srikanth and welcome to AWS Lambda tutorial series part 2. So in the previous video, we have learned how to create a Lambda function from the AWS console. So now we are going to learn how to add a layer. So you can see the layers over here. This is the feature where you can add your layers. And what is the layer basically? So today we are going to discuss that. So when you have to develop any Python code or any other code, you have to import some packages, right? So for example, in this Lambda, JSON library has been imported. So there are some libraries that are already inbuilt for this Lambda function, for any Lambda function basically. So there are some inbuilt libraries are available for Python language or any other language. But when it comes to other libraries, like there are some libraries you need to explicitly add it from layers. So basically, you cannot directly import those libraries in the Lambda function. For example, if I have to import request library, for example, if you see request library, I want to add, I want to import. So let's see the library has been imported or not. We'll deploy and we'll test. You can see the results, right? So I have I want to return these results over here, whether the Lambda function has been created or this Lambda function has been already created in the previous session. So you'll see library has been imported or not. We'll get the returns as well. Or if the library is not imported, that means we'll get an error. So in this case, you can expect an error. So you can see unable to import module Lambda function, no module name request. So this has been not imported properly. So you can see the runtime import module error. So how can you resolve this? You can add a layer that is with the request package. So for that what you need to do is you need to install a request library locally. So for example, if you have Python installed in your local machine, you have to install this request library in your local machine and zip that particular package, and you will add to layers. So you'll see how to add it. You'll have to go to layers, and you can see as I have already imported this request library. I mean, I have been already added this layer request. We'll create one more again. Create layer request, and you need to remember one thing. So when you're adding your library, right? So you need to add the library with runtime matching. That means if you are running your Lambda function on Python 3.12, right? So the library must be installed on Python 3.12 itself. So it will not work with other versions of the Python. So there are some cases like you'll face some library dependency issues. So you will need to, the recommendation is you will need to install your libraries on the same version of what your running runtime is. So what you need to do is go to layers and click on create layer. And I'm going to add request library, which is Python 3.12. So here what is asking, upload a zip file. That means you will need to install your install your request library in local machine and zip it and add it here. So how to do that? So this is the task for you. You need to install your request library in your local machine and zip it and add it here. So as I've already did that in my Linux machine. So one more thing I want to add, see this AWS Lambda is running on Amazon Linux servers. So it is always recommended to install your libraries in Amazon Linux server or any other Linux server So it will work. It will work even if it is not a Linux server sometimes, but most of the cases it will not work because library dependencies vary from operating system, one operating system to another operating system. So if you install your libraries in Windows, and you can add and you can zip it and add it as a layer, but sometimes it will not work. So in that case, what you will need to do is, so my recommendation is, you will have to create an EC2 instance with Amazon Linux server and install your Python, and also install your library, whatever the library you want to add with a pip. And yeah, you can zip it. You have to create a folder with Python, and will have to zip the that folder. So Python folder, I have zipped it to request layer.zip. So this way you can do that. This is the task for you. You can install your library, and you will zip it and add the zip file here. So as I've already zipped it here and downloaded it to my local machine. So basically what I did is, I've created my EC2 instance with Amazon Linux server, and installed Python, and also installed this request library in this Python folder, and zipped into request layer.gzip. And I've downloaded this particular zip file to my local machine, because this is on Amazon Linux server, right? So I have to download into local machine to add it here. So I'm going to upload that particular request layer. See, you can see this is on my local machine right now. So I'm going to add it. And runtime, right? You have to choose only Python 3.12, because this request library has been installed on Python 3.12 itself. And also I'm going to add this to a Lambda function which is running on Python 3.12. So I'm going to create this. So I have added a layer which is named as request Python 3.12. So you can see, oh sorry, I have to refresh this. Yeah, you can see the layer has been added. The same layer I'm going to use it to my Lambda function, which is I have created. So go first Lambda function. So I'm going to add this library. So as you can see, I've already tried to import this request library, but it is not imported properly. Let's add that particular library. From this, you can see there are three ways that you can add a layer. One is AWS layer, which is already templated here. So the AWS itself is providing some libraries over here. You can add. So for example, if you see the pandas library, that is coming with AWS itself. You can if you want to import the pandas library, you can directly add this. You don't need to install it from your local machine and add it here. So you can directly add it from the AWS layer. So when it comes to custom layers, right, the one which we have created, it will be shown here. So make sure that you remember whatever the runtime that you are using right now, that whatever the layers that you have created from that particular runtime, it will show. So I can see the request Python 3, Python -3-12. I can see the one which I have created recently. So I'm going to use it. You can use this. You can create multiple layers with the same name. So, but you can see the versioning over here. If you add a same layer again with a different with the same name, it will show as a second version. So I've created only for one time, so I can see only one time. So I'm using this version 1 and add it. Now we will try to import this. We will try to test it. The layer has been added successfully. Now we will try to import it, whether it will be successfully imported or not. Earlier you have seen that error, right? So that is not properly imported. Now we will see what happens. Invoke. See, this function is succeeded, and the Lambda function has been created. It's already created. Lambda function has been imported. The returns that you can see here, see, this is same returns you can see here. So this function is now succeeded, and that request library has been successfully imported, right? And now let's see, I've already have some more layers. Let's see what let's add Paramiko. Paramiko is a library that will be used to connect to the SFTP systems. So I also tried to import this. Now we'll test this. Now we'll get an error. Sorry, it's timed out. So timed out means the Lambda function by default timed out after 3 seconds. That can be changed here. Go to general configuration and increase your timeout. So it will run for up to 1 minute 3 seconds. After 1 minute 3 seconds, it will be timed out again. So our function will be executed within seconds itself. So there is no problem. I've changed, and I'll try to execute one more time. Now you will see a new error calling that Lambda function no module Paramiko, right? So now you'll add one more, add a layer, custom layers. As I've already imported this Paramiko Python iPhone 3.12, I'll try to add this layer. Let's see if it works or not. This failed again. So I think that particular Paramiko is not working properly, because maybe I have tried to create this from other operating system. So I will remove this for now and save it. I'll try to again one more Paramiko library that I have. So I have one more Paramiko library here. We'll try to add this. Let's see whether it works or not. This is also failed. Maybe this is also from other other operating system. Let's try to remove. Maybe I don't have that particular Paramiko library. Let's add one more. So I have one more, right? So Paramiko. I'll try to add this. Now test. So this is also failed. Maybe these layers have been added with a different operating system. That's why they are not working. So what you need to do is when you add a library, you will have to install on your local system or any Amazon Linux system. So that will work definitely. If it is not for working, that is installed on your local machine, so you'll need to create an EC2 instance with Amazon Linux server, and you'll need to install your library. That will work. Right. So I'll try to also import pandas library. Pandas, as you've seen. So we'll see whether it works or not. So this is also not working. Let's add that library. So the pandas library, which has been provided by AWS itself, we'll try to add that library. Now test. We'll also return something called pandas library status. So you can return something which is required for you. Updated the function. I'll try to test it. So you can see the pandas library has been added here. Now test it. See, the pandas libraries status is also success now. The function itself is succeeded. You can see and the request library and also the pandas library has been imported successfully. So this is how you can add a layers into this particular lambda function, any particular lambda function basically. So when you create a layer, right, so you'll see some options over there. So upload a zip file and upload a file from Amazon S3 basically. So when you have the file, you can also upload that into S3 bucket, and you can provide the URL of that particular S3 bucket, so that it will also work like that. So this is how you can create a Lambda layer, and you can import whatever the required libraries you have. Yeah. So this is all about this today's session. So I hope you have learned how to import your external libraries like your request, pandas, paramiko, other libraries, whatever the required libraries that you have. So there are some libraries, as I said, like inbuilt libraries are also there. So for them, no need to add any layers. For others which are not inbuilt for this Lambda function, you need to add explicitly by using this layer. So I hope you have learned enough amount of information from these layers. So if you like the video, please click on the like button and share it to someone who is learning this Lambda functions. And, yeah, bye. And please subscribe to my channel if it is useful for you.